So once you've conducted the Windows Server 2008 hardware assessment, what you should do next is to decide on which existing servers would be ready for server virtualization. In order to do that, what you want to do is to do the second step, which is capturing the performance monitoring counters of selected servers for the virtualization candidacy. So let's do that. In this case, let's switch back to the map UI. In this case, what we want to do is to actually capture some performance so you can capture the highs and lows of the utilization of CPU, network IOs, disk IOs, and other areas of interest for server virtualization. In this case, for example, I'm going to go ahead and target a list of machines that, in this case, they could be the 256 machines, could be file servers, for example. And then what I need to do is to go ahead and put in the administrative password again of those servers, so I have the right to actually ping them via WMI. Next, you'll be required to actually put in a time and date for ending the capturing. In general, we recommend that you conduct the performance capturing for at least 5 to 7 business days to capture the peaks and valleys. So in this case, let's choose 1 week. After that, when I click finish, it will start collecting information every 5 minutes of the performance around disk I/O, network I/O, CPU, memory, etc. of every single server. And when that's done, it will create a set of metrics report. So let's cancel this and move on to the third step. If you recall, after capturing performance metrics in this slide, the last thing you want to do is then generate the recommendations reports using the capture performance data. So let's do that. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and open a already captured performance database. And the last thing you want to do now is to prepare a server consolidation report. First, you're required to determine what hypervisor technology you're going to use. In this case, let's choose Windows Server 2008 Hyper-V. And then the second step is to ask you to define the prototypical host, essentially the machine where all these current server workloads would be residing and virtualized into. And it's important to define every bit of CPU parameters, storage, and network information. In this case, let's decide on a Xeon 5300 series Intel processor with 4 processors in this particular case, and perhaps it's a 3 gigahertz processor with 4 cores, 2 threads, etc. And then the third information box here is to select the right physical disk and memory for the host machine. For example, the host machine may now have 15,000 RPMs or 322 megabits per second type of this type. It may have 240 gigabytes worth of storage capacity, and it may even be a system with a RAID level of 5 and about 4 number of disks, etc., etc. After that, what you also want to do is to define the network adapters for the host machine. Let's assume that it has a gigabit Ethernet and 4 adapters and 40 gigabytes worth of memory. After that, before you're required to actually target the server machines for this to run again, what you also want to do is to define the maximum number of virtual machines you want to be consolidated into each and every host. Now, this might be a business rule that you want to apply, and for example, if you want to consolidate domain controllers across your IT infrastructure, you may want to limit to the number of virtualized domain controllers in every single physical machine, so that you're not putting all the eggs in one basket. The last step is then going back to the list of servers that originally I have targeted, the 256 file servers. When I click OK and click Finish, it will start creating a set of reports. So in this case, let's do a quick run and actually show you how some of the reports would look like. Here's a sample report of a server consolidation and virtualization assessment using the map toolkit. Just like the Windows Server 2008 hardware assessment report, it has a set of Word documents and Excel spreadsheets. In this case, it gives you a nice table of content with summary of where your server infrastructure is around virtualization. In this case, looks like over 75% of the physical servers could be virtualized, and then the remaining cannot. Also, you notice that there's a reduction in almost half in terms of reduction in physical machines. And if you scroll down to the tail end of this report, you'll be able to also see that it looks like you would have close to 50% reduction in number of servers from 22 to 13 in terms of physical servers, improvement in CPU utilization, disk throughput, network throughput, etc. So with this map toolkit, you'll be able to determine how many existing workloads would fit into each and every physical host. And using the Excel spreadsheets also generated by this tool, you now have the ability to determine which specific servers will end up in a physical host environment using Hyper-V virtualization. And notice that different servers will fit into different hosts depending on the workloads and the different parameters it might be operating under. So just to give you a brief summary again, the map toolkit gives you a great way to very quickly inventory and determine where your servers are across your infrastructure. Gives you the ability to capture performance counters of a select set of servers across your enterprise, and then help you generate recommendation reports and iterate the process again if you so choose. If you're interested in getting hold of this tool, please go to www.microsoft.com/map. Thank you for listening.